Hi, Jack Canfield here with another success resource. I'm sitting here with Jamie DeNovo, who has created a wonderful new concept and a book and many things to come because you're going to be rolling this out and making a big difference in the world. You talk about the I.M.Possible Muscle. Do we all need to create the I.M.Possible Muscle? And playing off this impossible to I'm possible. I love it. It's very clever. Tell us about that. Just unpack that for us a little bit.
Sure. Jack, I.M.Possible is a way that gets our brain to go past rethinking impossible and rethinking possible. And by doing that, it activates circuits in our brain that get us thinking in completely different ways.
So you call your book a micro blueprint. What do you mean by micro blueprint?
Well, when we run into something that for us seems to be impossible, I can't do that. It usually means that no matter how basic a level we're starting at, we can't get there. Mm-hmm. What this book does is it takes your brain to a level that is so basic that moment by moment you can actually make changes, build your ability in the same way that you build muscle in such tiny increments that now the thing you thought you could not do becomes manageable.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you a question because I want people to realize where this comes from, in the sense that this is not another self-help book. It's not another self-help concept. You've gone way deeper than that, and you've worked with some of the top leaders in neuroscience, and one in particular, I'd like you to mention who he is, and talk about how you went from your own, dark night of the soul, if you will, and basically climbed out because you had to find a way, and you found a way, and out of your compassion for other people, you're now wanting to share that. But the idea that this is not just another, I read 7 books, and now I'm regurgitating all the stuff I've ever read. I mean, you really went deep into this, so talk about that for just a little bit.
All right. Yes, when I hit a time where I had hit, I'm not a person who generally flinches at doing something people say can't be done. But I did. Something happened in life, and I hit that point where now all of a sudden, all of the books I'd ever read, and believe me, I'd read them all. I used to be an inspirational experience. Now, I was to the point where I was the person who didn't believe anymore. And everything out there started at a level I couldn't reach. So I thought, I'm going to have to find a new way. I was looking at impossible on a level I had never experienced it before. And I thought, if I can find a way to change my brain and do things I didn't think I could do, I'll bet you there are millions of other people who are starting at a place where they don't believe anymore, or where they've tried everything and it doesn't work, so now they've almost given up. And what I did is go to one of the world's top behavioral neuroscientists, Dr. Brian Kolb, and I asked him to work with me to give me information about the brain that I could use, that anyone could use, so that now we could take control of our brain processes in a way that normally we could never do. And we could work those in a way that we can actually change the way we think and open up new circuits. So now we could push through mental blocks and find ways to break through and achieve things that would have seemed impossible before.
Very cool. Now, I know that in your book, because I leafed through it, there's a lot of what I'm going to call conventional wisdom that you basically challenge.
That's right.
So what are some of those things?
Okay. One of the things that I learned when learning about how your brain works with focus is one of the great terms we hear all the time is thinking outside the box. Well, what I learned in working with Dr. Kolb is the fact that your brain still focuses on the box. And by learning to go into thinking without the box, we now take our brain into a place that it's never been before. Now we're talking about creating something new. And so my book teaches you how to go beyond thinking outside the box to thinking without the box, and how to identify what that box is.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How about another one?
Okay. Another one is would be you have to believe to achieve. All the books tell us you have to believe to achieve, which belief is certainly wonderful if you're at a place where you're absolutely certain of what you're doing and you're flying. But what happens if you reach that place where you don't believe anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what my book does is show you that you can actually start at a place where you don't believe, and you can get results so quickly that now you're changing your brain in a way that you start to get to a place where you can believe and progress accelerates. But you don't have to begin to get to a place that, again, seemed impossible to do from where you were.
Very cool. So you've introduced some new terms. You've kind of confronted some myths. Anything more you want to say about that?
Yes, actually, when you do understand this is accessible to anybody, anybody. I bring brain science into your house so that now into your home, into your reality, so that now when you learn those things that you learn in courses, when you learn those things that where you know what you need to do, but you don't know how to do them, this gives you the tools that you need to make the changes you need to make in order to be able to do the things you know you need to do so you can get where you want to go.
Very good. So if you want to go from being impossible to being you are possible, you can make anything happen. Develop your I.M.Possible Muscle using some very powerful techniques that this wonderful woman has put together. I want to encourage you to go to her website and get a hold of your book and learn more from you, because you're a pretty extraordinary woman with what you've accomplished. I've read through your book, and there's a lot of new stuff in there, and I read pretty much everything there is to read. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jack.
Very
so
good.
Much.
And we'll see you after the break, so stick around and come on back.
Thanks very much.